I'm going to go over some changes I've made to the air suspension setup for the rear of the Club Car DS. Previously, it had a leaf spring setup, but the leaf springs were interfering with the air shocks. They were having a fight to get lift. So what I've done is I replaced the leaf springs with these Enduro joints, just connected to 2-inch square tubing. And then the square tubing goes back. I've got a bolt put in the middle that acts as an alignment pin and keeps everything lined up just as it was in the factory setup. The measurements for the distance from the alignment pin to the Enduro joint is 15 inches on center. The alignment with the Enduro joint doesn't have to be perfect. It's made to have a little bit of twist and still be just fine. Another change I've also made the two air shocks independent. They each have their own switch now instead of sharing a switch. It makes it so when one side gets compressed in a turn, it doesn't push the air to the other side. It's got its own stiffness. Each side remains stiff. Go over some of the changes I've made for the Club Car air suspension. This is a 3D printed little cover I made. It accommodates an on-off switch for the compressor and then two valves. Previously I had this as the front valve and the rear valve. Right now I'm trying to figure out what to do with the front suspension. It gets real bad bump steer anytime it's raised more than just like the regular ride height. So I'm gonna have to do like a long travel or something up there. So right now this is the rear left and rear right. Splitting them off like that has some benefits. When you're turning hard, when one side compresses up, it doesn't push all the air to the other side. It just gets stiffer. So it makes the cart a lot more stable. It also kind of doubles the speed at which it can lift. So I'll lift now. Much faster, much more impressive. The compressor kicks on like almost immediately because I've got just the half-gallon tank in here. Need to get a bigger tank. I'm planning on doing something with the batteries, something a little more powerful, lithium. It also lets it air down much faster. And so that's kind of the bottomed out. The air shocks are actually bottomed out at this point. So if I have passengers, worst case scenario, it's not going to be scrubbing if it's overloaded. And then I'll lift it so we can see this better. And then I'll just turn the compressor off. So under here, this is what was called an Enduro joint. It's got like a 7/16 through hole for it. Had to do a little bit of grinding right here so that it would fit. Just ground away a little bit of the aluminum frame. Not a concerning amount, but it's like 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch of grinding, and that allows the pivot to happen without scrubbing. This is just 2-inch square tube and then a little threaded cap, also from the same shop that I got the Enduro joints from. And then it just goes to the factory mounting points for the leaves. And it has a little through pin. I'll have another clip with the through pin that helps keep everything aligned. And that's all I can think I've changed since the last video.